Hey there, YouTubers. It's just another fact about life that we never stopped learning ever since birth, and either voluntarily, deliberately, or non-deliberately and unconsciously, we all learn, though we don't usually realize such fact. And it also occurs to me that I found it quite strange. People never question, or they very rarely question, why do we have to learn this? Why do we have to learn that? In fact, well, I know some prestigious YouTubers have already mentioned, a multitude things about, a multitude videos about how to think critically, how to learn, how to pick up a particular skill or realm or field of knowledge, etc. But here I like to talk about, I like to talk about more on self-learning, self-education and training, and its implications on on psychology, on philosophy, and also a bit of creativity. So far as I see, conventional education, especially lectures, textbooks, tutorials, they really mention anything about the interdisciplinary implications of certain actions in details. They they pretty much just they either pretty much just mention something that exclusively relate to the topic per se, or just briefly introduce them with vague or highly ambiguous words under such context. That kind of gets me into thinking why we have we've got so many books that barely and really very rarely teach you about anything practically useful indeed. That includes, but are not limited to, books about how to chase girls, how to pursue your dreams and goals, and how to solve a particular problem. Probably you will only be able to troubleshoot the problems, the issues that just now occurred to your laptop computer using a service manual, or and nothing else. You can't just Google it and get a very straightforward solution or answer straight away. You still have to figure out how specifically to do it, how specifically to perform a certain procedure or a certain set of procedures whatsoever. So basically, so far what I can see is that essentially learning and training and education, they all mean changing your mind or mindset, yet not necessarily gathering more knowledge or gathering more about what we have to know about a certain thing or a certain matter or a certain fact. I don't know if you have noticed something peculiar about learning, is that the machine learning and human learning, they differ vastly from one another. From machine learning, you can pretty much tell a machine, or instruct a machine to perform the commands you gave to it, and it will do so. It will do so as you see fit. It will do so exactly as you instructed it to do. But not about, that such principles certainly will never apply to human beings, as you see, because I don't know, but I just couldn't help but start noticing such fact, and such fact keeps bothering me. It keeps haunting me until today. It amazed me so much that humans have to take such a long period of duration in order to just to become a skilled worker or skilled laborer, if not an expert, in certain field or realm of studies or industry. While all those automation mechanisms and machines can learn to do so almost instantaneously, and so so far I still don't know why humans can't change themselves so easily, but probably such phenomenon keeps occurring and reoccurring due to the very nature of ours human beings. And I've also learned the hard fact in the hard way that we don't, in fact, in order to solve a certain problem, you have to learn. You just have to keep learning. You mustn't cease to learn more and more. Though the more you learn, the more you earn. Such saying does not come from the Bible, and I certainly don't fully support the ideology of materialism. However, I have noticed I have come to realizations of several simple and straightforward facts about how to cope with the shit that tends to occur in people's lives, and we just have to deal with them no matter how much wealth and money you possess, no matter how prestigious, how affluent your socio-economic statuses have managed to become. So basically speaking, we need to change ourselves. We just have to change ourselves so that we can solve a certain problem more quickly and more efficiently, instead of trying to change others, because it still takes a great deal of effort and energy to change ourselves, to change yourself. It still takes much less energy and effort to attempt to change somebody else, because you have no control over their mind, their body, their behaviors, their mindsets, and you certainly don't own nothing about their nothing about theirs, unless you manage to dig up several secrets of theirs, and you use them as leverage to threaten them with their job security, financial health, and integrity, the people they love and care about, all those sort of what and what not. But kind of got a bit of a sidetracked. Sorry. So Jesus, I just we just have to so in short, we just have to keep learning no matter what. And in fact, though the Bible does not explicitly mention the more you learn, the more you earn, the more you learn, the more you earn. However, the very reason why God, the very existence, the very prevalence of the Bible already prove the fact that God gave us, the Bible. God gave us His Word so that we can learn by constantly and relentlessly gathering and assimilating wisdom from Him. Not just wisdom alone, but also intelligence, knowledge, several sets of procedures on how to tackle a particular situation, such as when people, when you don't have people who love you, who care about you, who never cease to persecute you, and what do you do? What exactly do we do? In fact, we can in response to that problem, we can either run away from it, or we can just respond with kindness, generosity, and forgiveness. Or both of these methods, they will certainly work. They will certainly get you some results, but you just haven't seen it yet. So that's where faith becomes handy. That's where you need faith, because faith means to believe in something or someone that we have yet seen. So in fact, faith gives you the certainty that something will happen, though you haven't seen it, and for somehow something will happen, though you haven't seen it. It will still happen, because it an overwhelmingly powerful and overwhelmingly profound universal constant is driving and catalyzing the process in a way none can stop it. Such as death, such as natural disasters, political instability, wars, threats about wars, disputes among people. They are all bound to happen, and all we can do is to trust in the Lord by learning and gathering and assimilating His wisdom. So basically, I'd say the Bible in fact tentatively supports the idea of or the concept of the more you learn, the more you earn. So no matter what you do, no matter which profession you choose to make a living, we all need to learn, and we all need to take the initiative to learn, and try to become a pioneer in certain realm of study or field of industry, or a certain range of professions whatsoever. Since God has given us a book, the Bible, and He he did not give this book, he did not, format and formulate his words and compile them into a book called the Bible in vain for no reason. Of course, he did it for a reason, and that reason being to instruct us to learn, to instruct us to comply with his words as much as possible. Though we don't actually, and we will never become fully capable of obeying his words to the full, to a full extent, to a perfect degree, but so, and haven't I told you that learning actually alleviates or mitigates depression, loneliness, and hopelessness, if not completely neutralize those feelings. So I imagine the purpose, one of the purpose of life here on earth is to learn from setbacks, is to learn from agony, from pain, from all those tribulations and trials and troubles we all have to experience, no matter, whether we like it or not. All we can do is to learn how to respond to them, and how to tackle them with a positive and productive attitude. On the other hand, please allow me to share another incident I've had with a fellow Christian friend of mine. In fact, I removed his WeChat, for several reasons, and because I got so frustrated with his unhelpfulness and his irresponsibility for his words, for the words that he spit out. That really pissed me off, and I for some period of time, I no longer considered him worthy of my attention, my kindness and forgiveness. But then I still chose to add him back on WeChat and on Facebook as a gesture of good faith and forgiveness, because I don't I don't want to to piss God off. I don't want God to get mad at me for deleting such friend of mine for no intangible or admissible causes. But the fact is, such hopelessness, such disappointment, they did exist, and they still do exist until now. Though I still chose to forgive that David, and now I'm beginning to understand that incrementally, that forgiveness does not necessarily mean that you forget what miserable and terrible deeds a particular someone has committed against you to make to upset you, to to make you cry a river or something like that. I don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean that you forget such fact. You forget the past history. It doesn't necessarily mean that, and certainly so far as I'm concerned, I believe the vast majority of people, they also, that's basically what I believe about how people interpret and perceive what forgiveness actually means. For the vast majority of Christians, so yeah. So in short, learn to think, learn to let go of someone or something when the time comes, or when you think the time comes. Learn to salvage from learn to salvage at least something useful and productive from your past histories, and learn to gather wisdom and faith, and learn to pray to God, learn to take actions to so that you can feel more focused on the tasks at hand, and in turn you won't get so depressed, so lonely, because after all, God sent us to this world for very specific reasons, though we don't usually see all of them, and we can never will. We never will see the full picture. So I wish you guys all well, and I certainly hope that you can all get what you need and what you want during the final several months of year 2019. If not, still stay faithful and remain steadfast, because you will never know what would happen until you get to experience them, until you start taking actions by traveling to another place, to another city, to another country, meeting up with different groups of people, and we will see what would happen. And thanks again for watching and listening to my videos, and again, stay blessed, stay faithful, and stay tuned. I shall see you in the next video on YouTube. Bye bye. Cheers. Amen.